うまくいくって。そんなことない。うまくいくって。うまくいくっての。うまくいってんじゃん。
It's November, which means that Inktober is finally done. And for those of you participating in NaNoWriMo, best of luck. And if you're participating in both Inktober and NaNoWriMo, you gotta calm down. I don't know. But yeah, so it's finally done, and I wanted to just show my results from Inktober. I think it's important that people show their work, even if, like me, you're not necessarily feeling all that 100% confident in it, but I think it's super important. So this month, I had initially wanted to continue a comic that I started last year, but I was kind of feeling stuck, I guess. It felt like I was in a rut, I guess you could say. But more along the lines of I haven't been completely satisfied with where my art is, or it feels kind of aimless in terms of where I'm trying to go. Like, I have big goals of creating awesome things, but the pathway there seems quite murky, and how I want my art style to develop has also been a struggle in terms of trying to figure all that good art stuff out. Not that I expect clear answers or anything, but it just felt like I was really dissatisfied. And so I decided this month to instead concentrate on doing something a bit different. I wanted to do character designs, and I wanted to basically start with a friend of mine, Cheru. She's an awesome writer. I will link her socials in the description so that you can check her out. She's a really wonderful person. If you ever want to talk anything about the MCU or Mass Effect or Dragon Age or anything of that nature, she will have things to say, and I'm sure you guys will have a wonderful discussion. But yeah, she's an amazing person, and she has a story that she's writing, and I offered to do some of the art for it because it sounded awesome, and I know her and I trust her and I know her writing. And the characters that she had been developing sounded really cool. So I thought it would be a nice way to kind of break away from my own, headspace, I guess, and kind of branch out a bit by embracing someone else's story and trying to figure out like how their characters live and breathe in a completely different world aside from whatever I might think of, right? So I spent the first half of this month basically making character design, character art for characters from her story. And it was honestly really, really awesome and really refreshing. Like, I got to try out, different clothing styles, different hairstyles, all this breakaway stuff that, because of her colorful descriptions of these characters, that I had never thought of for maybe something from my world, right? And it just opened up doors for me, I guess. I obviously didn't focus super well on anatomy, as you probably more than already seen. Yeah. I'm a little embarrassed, honestly. I know some of my I know there's basically a lot of things I'm looking at now where it's I'm unfortunately one of those creatives who looks back on their work and feels a bit of pride in terms of where I came from and knowing how much progress I've made. But then at the same time, I can't help but basically pointing out things that I could have done better or that I would do better now. Man. I already feel it. I just completed this challenge and I already feel it. I felt like I really needed to get back into the mode of experimenting again and just laying down ideas and dedicating the time to drawing out my ideas, not just thinking about them over and over and over again. Of course, it's important to think things through, but I think it's also important to just get the idea out onto paper, and then, even if it's not fully fleshed out, to just let the process happen. Yeah, it was awesome, and it was awesome in terms of one of the, I suppose, goals of Inktober in general, which is to just get yourself drawing every day and kind of developing that habit. I've developed that habit perhaps a little too much now, to the point that if I'm not using my evening towards drawing, then I feel really, really restless. Like I dedicated so much time to making these drawings for Inktober, to the point that I was doing them during lunch breaks. I was doing them, dedicating all my weekends to them, all my evenings to them, just trying to make as much content as I could for these Inktober drawings, and trying to like bust through whatever malaise had settled over my brain. That once it was all done, I just felt like I need to keep going. I need to do more. But I was also extremely mentally exhausted and needed to kind of rebalance my life in a way that I could not feel like I needed to be working on Inktober while I'm out with friends or something like that, right? So thankfully, I've been able to take a step back now that Inktober is over. I've been able to keep up drawing, and just at least a little bit every day, just to keep up the habit, but also kind of tame that restlessness down a bit. So this was basically just, I guess this whole video, has just been talking about my own personal journey with Inktober. Because the story is still in progress, I ended up running out of characters at some point to draw for her story, so I decided that the second half of the month would be to do some art for characters from my own stories and kind of see how much this approach in terms of making art for Cherry's characters had kind of helpfully opened up some of my own reservations for developing my own characters. And as it turns out, it really helped. It was just a really good experience overall. And it's also been great because it's kept me thinking about these drawings that I made and thinking about, okay, how can I push them further? How can I push them further? Because obviously a lot of these designs are kind of bare bones in terms of at least my own preferences. I think I could do a lot more to help distinguish them, push them more in terms of expressing the character's personality. But I wanted to start somewhere, and even if it's just as simple as just drawing the character and some of their expressions, it really helped. It really helped to kind of keep things moving so that I didn't keep, stuck in going over these ideas over and over and over again, right? By putting them onto paper, I can kind of keep my mind from fanatically revisiting them in order to not forget them, and then also trying to develop new ideas, right? Now I can just purely focus on the new ideas while also having reminders of some of the old ones, and kind of have that settled and locked down. I don't want to go too deep into details about this character or that character. If you're interested, by all means, let me know, and I'll be happy to talk about them with you, but I mostly just wanted to talk about the journey because I think Inktober, for any artist who's even tried to participate in Inktober, is a doozy. It really tests you sometimes, depending on how much you know your limits and how aware you are of how much you want to produce. For me, I'm always way overly ambitious. I think you could probably tell. trying to do Inktober and also everything else in life is rough. I honestly wanted to dedicate a lot more time to Inktober if I had it available to me, but as it was, I was dedicating every spare moment that I could, amongst other things. So yeah, it's been awesome. I'm hoping to continue participating. hopefully with a more even-keeled, balanced mindset and goals. But yeah, I'm hoping that this will help me continue pushing forward in terms of experimentation, and I also wanted to put this video out to kind of generate a discussion in terms of maybe some of the struggles that you guys are going through as creatives, or maybe just in general, like what you're doing to hopefully chip away at the process, I guess. Because at the end of the day, each big goal that we have is comprised of lots of smaller tasks that we gotta complete, and sometimes it's really hard to keep that in perspective. And even with something as straightforward as Inktober, or something much bigger like a life ambition, I think it's so important to have that discussion and also be able to kind of, in a sense, keep each other accountable, maybe to the point of honestly just supporting each other, you know? By sharing these ambitions or these goals that we have and our progress that we're making, we're able to see where we came from, and we're able to, by sharing that with others, see where maybe other people have come from. Maybe they have similar goals, or they might be taking different paths to reach it, but it's still awesome to see. And yeah, there's going to be people who might reach their goals lightning fast. They're either really skilled, or they're lucky, or what have you, opportunistic. Yeah, I'm really hoping to help generate more talk about this kind of stuff, because it often feels like when we're feeling stuck that we feel so heavy and isolated. Obviously, we're not the only ones who feel this way, but because the situation is so personal, we're hesitant to share it, or we're hesitant to burden others with whatever we're going through, right? Even if people are willing to listen, you can't help but think maybe that you're ruining their nice day by telling them about your terrible day, or they might not want to hear about your whining about this and that or the other. And by doing so, I think we silence ourselves to the point of misery and feeling even more stuck, right? Because we're not able to open those new doors and branch out and find new approaches to whatever it is that we're dealing with. And maybe not necessarily that other people might have a solution for you. I mean, every journey is personal, but I think that fact that you're able to kind of share what you're going through and be able to talk about it on a level where you're able to just open up just a bit, at least just a bit, and see what happens, I think is so important. And maybe you're afraid of getting slammed, as can happen on the internet or with strangers or what have you. Even if you're self-conscious, like I am. I mean, God, I hesitated so much in posting these. That's why it's November that I'm posting these and not October. Yeah, I'm hoping to talk with you guys more. Hoping to post more artwork. I hope that you will as well. I will link some stuff down in the description, like a Discord or other social media, if you guys want to chat on there, or we can chat on here with comments. I'm really looking forward to, even if you, again, didn't participate in Inktober or what have you, maybe you're in the midst of NaNoWriMo right now. I'm hoping to touch base with you guys and hearing what you guys might be going through, what you're comfortable with sharing anyway, might be going through, or what you've been through that you would like to contribute, and we'll trek on together. Yay! Yeah, I think it'll be great to hear everyone's stories and experiences. I think that'd be awesome. So hopefully I'll be able to have that privilege of listening to you guys, and we'll be able to share a lot of stuff together. I'll see you there. All right. Bye-bye.